The film begins with a weary soldier named Mickey taking a break with his family. He brings his kids Jack and Jane to his brother Noah's home in the woods of America. Sophie, Mickey's wife, drives them there since Mickey is worn out from his recent military service. Upon arriving at Noah's place, nestled deep in the forest, they hope for a relaxing vacation. However, it quickly becomes apparent that things aren't pleasant, especially for Jane. When Mickey and Sophie enter the house, they're shocked to find it in disarray, as if deliberately left unkempt. Mickey tries to stay positive, thinking Noah might have been really drunk. But as Jack leads Jane inside, they're hit by a foul odor, likely from the scattered food trash. While exploring the house, Jane takes pride in her family's military background. She learns that not only her dad, but also her grandfather and great-grandfather served in the military, as evidenced by various photos and heirlooms in the house. Even Noah, who resides there, is a soldier. This inspires Mickey to follow in their footsteps and become a soldier himself. And he's not just any soldier. He's a retired Special Forces operative, renowned and feared by 9 major countries. That evening, Jane keeps griping to her parents because she's not fond of the vacation spot. Mickey reminds his kids to appreciate what they have, but he realizes both of them had hoped for a getaway to the beach or mountains. However, since Mickey had recently retired from the military, he opted to vacation at Noah's house to honor their family's military legacy. The following day, Mickey pays a visit to his father's and grandfather's graves near Noah's house. Despite their esteemed military service, they were laid to rest without any ceremony. During the day, Mickey plans a new experience for their vacation, learning to shoot. Little does he know, someone has been observing his family all along. Mickey focuses on teaching Jack while showing affection to Sophie. Unfortunately, Jane isn't keen on learning to shoot and remains upset about the vacation. She retreats to her room and vents her frustration by shouting at her mom, who tries to soothe her. As night descends, Jack becomes perplexed when the TV in the living room refuses to turn on. Mickey senses something amiss and instructs his kids to go to their rooms. To their astonishment, the TV turns out to be a facade, concealing a hidden compartment filled with the family's treasures and important documents dating back to World War II. Mickey's family had tucked away these items to safeguard them. Meanwhile, Jack is taken aback when he discovers something under the bed and hurriedly informs his dad. Mickey investigates the room and is shocked to find Noah's lifeless body beneath the bed. He quickly urges his family to evacuate the house. Simultaneously, a car approaches from the end of the road, forcing them back inside. Mickey instructs his family to remain concealed while they wait for the car to depart. However, by morning, the car remains parked outside. Mickey and Sophie stay awake all night, unexpectedly armed. Several other cars arrive, prompting Mickey to venture outside to ascertain their purpose. To their surprise, they encounter 12 soldiers who had served alongside Mickey in a previous war. They inform Mickey that they've come to retrieve his family's treasures and inheritance. Giving him some time to locate these valuable items, they wait. Upon realizing their intentions, Mickey and Sophie need a new strategy to prevent the soldiers from leaving. However, Mickey recognizes that the house is heavily guarded, and any attempt to leave would endanger his family. After waiting for some time, Mickey noticed a soldier stretching his arm, so he seized the chance to lead his family out, carrying the 2 bags of their valuables. Their family vacation had descended into chaos, and they couldn't leave the area. Mickey had to guide his family into the woods to seek refuge. Meanwhile, the soldiers remained unaware that Mickey had escaped, taking them an hour to realize his absence. Meanwhile, Mickey and his family had ventured deep into the woods. Fortunately, Mickey found a suitable place to rest and hide. Later, he deliberately buried the 2 bags of inheritance in a secure location. On the other hand, the soldiers were strategizing to track down Mickey, holding a meeting and assigning tasks for the pursuit in the woods. Most of the soldiers were young but appeared well-trained and experienced. Unexpectedly, Mickey returned and stumbled upon the meeting. Suddenly, one of the soldiers was threatened by their leader, a man named Kane, for not obeying orders. Initially, the other soldiers thought Kane was joking and found it amusing. However, when their laughter died down, a soldier named Franco promptly killed the one threatened by Kane with a single blow. The soldiers were shocked by Kane's actions, and they no longer found them amusing. From then on, nobody dared to defy Kane, fearing Franco's lethal response. Mickey hurried back to his family and explained that they couldn't return home yet. He couldn't let the soldiers have their way, and fighting back was their only option. Mickey resolved to confront the soldiers alone, one by one, while the rest of the soldiers scoured the woods, spreading out to restrict Mickey's movements. Their aim was to trap him and hinder his freedom of movement. At one point, Mickey encountered a soldier with exceptional camouflage skills, but he swiftly subdued him. Mickey then seized a communication radio and responded to Kane's messages, falsely claiming that 10 people were still left, and he would eliminate them soon. Meanwhile, Jack had the idea of trailing his dad despite his limited shooting experience. Sophie tried to dissuade Jack, but fortunately, Mickey returned and Jack abandoned his plan. As night fell, Mickey allowed his family to rest, although they couldn't shake off their worry about him venturing into the woods once again on his hunt. Ultimately, Jack decided to follow his father because Jane couldn't stop fretting about him. Meanwhile, Mickey moved with the precision of a skilled assassin, and eventually, Sophie couldn't restrain Jack any longer. Jack worried about his father's safety. During that night, Mickey successfully neutralized another soldier. The following day, Kane's group stumbled upon their comrade's body. Kane and his team were unsettled by the number 9 carved on the corpse's chest, indicating that only 9 of them remained. Kane ordered his team to be even more vigilant in their pursuit of Mickey. While Jack continued trekking through the forest without encountering Mickey, Mickey himself stood by a small river, splashing water on his face. In that moment, memories of a dark incident from his time in Afghanistan resurfaced. He recalled how one of his fellow soldiers had ruthlessly killed innocent civilians, sparing only a woman and her daughter. When Mickey had attempted to intervene and save the woman, his teammate had viewed him as a traitor. This haunting memory made Mickey realize that humans were capable of great cruelty. He had failed to protect that woman, a regret he carried with him throughout his life. Now, some of his former comrades from that time, including Kane and Franco, were hunting him down with the intention of stealing his family's treasures. Filled with rage and a thirst for vengeance, Mickey managed to eliminate one of Kane's men yet again. Shortly after, another soldier arrived, and Mickey used the one he had ambushed as a shield. He continued to dodge gunfire, seeking cover behind several trees, and ultimately succeeded in ambushing the second soldier from behind. Surprisingly, when Mickey faced a female soldier, he chose not to use weapons despite her strong physique. They engaged in a fierce hand-to-hand battle, but Mickey triumphed by pushing her against a tree trunk. Before long, Kane and his team reached the scene and discovered the dead female soldier. They quickly realized they were facing an exceptional opponent in Mickey. Once again, Mickey marked the number 7 on the dead soldier, indicating that there were 7 people left in Kane's group. After some time, Kane and his team resumed their pursuit and nearly stumbled upon Jack. Thankfully, Mickey intervened and instructed Jack to distract one of the soldiers while he swiftly dealt with another soldier patrolling the lake. The soldier had no inkling that Mickey was concealed in the water, and when the moment was right, Mickey launched a surprise attack. They engaged in another intense fight, but Mickey managed to retrieve a pistol from the bottom of the lake and shot the soldier. Afterward, Mickey gathered several weapons and began searching for Jack. Meanwhile, Sophie and Jane grew anxious because Mickey and Jack hadn't returned. Unfortunately, Jack found himself ensnared by one of the soldiers, and Sophie and Jane were captured by Stan and Franco, who took them to Noah's house. Mickey rescued Jack, but learned that Sophie and Jane had been captured. To worsen matters, Kane planned to harm Sophie and Jane. Mickey was furious and swiftly dealt with the soldier who had attacked Jack before heading to Noah's house. Meanwhile, Stan initially disagreed with Kane's plan to harm Jane and Sophie, but Kane became furious and shot him. Shortly after, Mickey radioed that he would arrive soon and warned Kane not to act recklessly. However, Kane and Franco disregarded Mickey's warning, further enraging him. He sprinted toward Noah's house and swiftly took out 2 more of Kane's men. Eventually, Mickey reached Noah's house, surprising and bewildering Kane with his lightning-fast moves. Later, Kane and Franco brought Sophie and Jane outside as hostages. Mickey began negotiating, offering to disclose the whereabouts of the treasure bags. However, Kane insisted that only one person could be freed before Mickey handed over the bags. With no other option, Mickey faced a tough choice. He decided to release Sophie, leaving Jane in Kane's custody. Despite the situation, Mickey remained composed and instructed Sophie to return to their original hiding spot where Jack was waiting. After Sophie departed, Kane instructed Franco to trail Mickey to the location of the heirloom bags. As they journeyed through the forest, Franco began tormenting Mickey. Meanwhile, Jane was brought back into the house and subjected to continued harassment by Kane. Eventually, Mickey and Franco reached the location, and Mickey promptly revealed the hidden treasure bags. However, when Franco let his guard down, Mickey fiercely fought back. Mickey's anger intensified, especially since Franco had mistreated him during their time in Afghanistan. At the same time, Jane reluctantly acquiesced to Kane's advances and sat on his lap. On the other hand, Mickey and Franco engaged in a heated battle, but within just 2 seconds, Mickey managed to gain the upper hand. His innate intelligence and combat skills enabled him to defeat his former comrade. Mickey swiftly subdued Frank, ending the fight by repeatedly striking Franco's face until he died. Meanwhile, Jane had managed to outwit Kane and escape. Kane chased after her and eventually captured her. By that time, Mickey had arrived and had to comply with the situation to ensure Jane's safety. However, Kane was already furious because Jane had deceived him, leading to Mickey killing Franco. Kane struck Jane unconscious, triggering Mickey's explosive anger. In the end, Mickey and Kane engaged in an intense fight. Initially, Mickey struggled because Kane was younger and stronger, nearly getting killed. However, Mickey had to surrender when he saw that Kane had a gun and was about to shoot him. Fortunately, Sophie intervened, shooting Kane in the chest from behind before he could harm Mickey. Mickey quickly finished off Kane to ensure he was dead. Shortly after, Jane regained consciousness, initially feeling shocked. After these events, Mickey gave Noah a proper burial. Mickey felt grateful for being reunited with his family unharmed, and the family's inheritance and treasures remained safe and untouched, concluding the movie. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you again soon. Take care.